from the YouTube perspective. Alright, so welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you could join us tonight, YouTube, and the rest of the world. Come over to my live stream, everybody. And welcome, Say Yes. I'm glad you could join us. I am starting our little cartography session here. And I think I'm going to do this rather than a continent. I'm going to do like a little coastline this time. Going to be on the edge here. Glad you could join us tonight. You are going to have a settlement named after you about right here. This is your town, Say Yes. And Rose will be over here. Norman Wong, welcome to the live stream. This is the cartography session. We're starting fresh with a new map. Not a whole continent, but more like a coastline. More like a coast. You are seeing it from the south. For coming to the live stream, you get a settlement right about here. And this is a fictional map. Yep, I'm drawing a map. I'm drawing a fictional map. And for coming to tonight's live stream, you get a settlement on the coastline. So, I'm actually drawing the map instead of finishing off a map, so okay. Alright, so the streaming on YouTube is a little bit rough, but as you can see, we're going to continue drawing said map. We're going to just draw out some little region here. I think in the future we can do like a Westerosian project, but I want to first just start drawing some map particles here. And get some islands going. Then we'll go to the coastline and go to the interior. I think we'll start with these islands. And anyone who pops up on the YouTube live stream, feel free to comment in the live chat below. I am open to new and more people coming in. Currently there are 3 settlements, which means 3 people have entered the live stream on my end here. And let's see, where's a good place to do something? Right about here looks like a good place to put in a little stream that moves southward. In fact, let's make this a little bigger. We're going to make this little waterway bigger, better, and uncut. Up here looks like there would be a river system. A lot of water coming down in this northern region. It's a very wet area. Apparently, just as over here. Welcome Woodrow to the Cartography Livestream. Earlier was our 7 Wonders livestream at 11 a.m. and right now at 2 p.m. is the cartography map. Glad you could join us in this. For that, get a settlement over here. Nice little settlement here on the map. So, this is basically one of my bigger hobbies, and I just occasionally draw maps, just for the fun of it. Right now I'm just looking for a little bit of region where a river could pop up along the coast and go inland from. And think about here is a small little area here in which a delta might actually appear where the water flows out. Let's see, welcome Liz 000. You can have a settlement, a first island settlement, about here. Being that you are the 5th user to come on in. I am drawing a map right now, and as our 5th guest tonight, you have a settlement on the first island. Currently I'm working on the river system on the main continent, This is kind of like a region in the Eastern Mediterranean. This map is supposed to be resembled of that, except it's facing the other direction, kind of like the Levant. And currently, I am just figuring out river systems. Perhaps there's something over here. That streams inland, over this direction. Feel free to comment in the comment section below, Liz and Woodrow. We are open to all comments, and we are also open to any changes on the map. Currently, it's just looking at the river systems, seeing if we can draw this map within a timely measure. So, welcome Shirley Haha. You get a settlement right up here. Get the 6th person to come tonight, and you have a new settlement on an island up here. This place is supposed to resemble the Levant, except facing the other way. And as a key, here's north. Now, so right now, double checking any coastline for nice little river areas, and I think we are mostly good. We're at the 50-minute mark, so let's start drawing some inland mountains and so forth. Now, mountains would probably peer up in this direction up here, given that the rivers come from this area. Perhaps we have a mountain range in this corner. That kind of blocks off this area. Alright, yep, mountains. This is a mountain range in the northwestern section of the map. Welcome to the live stream. For joining, you get a new settlement out here on this island. Let me just try this. My calligraphy is a little terrible, but we will have ourselves a nice little place here. So that's your settlement. Let's go back to the mountains while we're at it here. In this corner of the map, Great Mountain Range peers up out of the sky. It's a really high and thick mountain range out here. If you have any questions or comments about changes that should be made to said map or that you want made, go ahead and post them below. Right now, we are basically just drawing out this impenetrable mountainous corner. Perhaps it ends about here, where this corner is dominated by mountains. And over here it gets a little shorter. Let's see, another good place where mountains might crop up is probably a divide over here in the peninsula, just along the coast here. Like, not a big mountain range, just a little itty bitty one. Like a little spine that exists over here. Just gonna keep drawing this mountain range out here. A little edge here. Sometimes it's good to draw the edge out, and sometimes it's not. It all depends on what you want out of a mountain range. This is actually kind of like a Sierra Nevada kind of deal. There's like a little place in the middle. So small little areas over here. There's a river system that extends over here. And this is more like an inland gulf out here, so we'll consider what happens there. Welcome back to the live stream. I already gave you a place up here. No? Alright. Let's see. I'm gonna go continue making this area up here, maybe. This area is a nice fertile region. This area is plentiful in rivers, and it's a very chaotic north coast, since the rivers like to occasionally change where they come in from. Very fertile section of the map, though, mind you. But there are a lot of sorrows when the river changes course. Say yes is civilizations actually on the edge of said lake over here. On the edge over here of this area. And over here I'm going to keep drawing out this river here. Perhaps Rose's area actually intertwines right next to this fertile region. And let's go further south. Let's see. I think there would probably be a little bit of woodland cutting in between here. Let's yep, this is forest over here. There's a little bit of woodlands right here that basically exist. In between the fertile rivers over here, there's wood. Welcome 123456 to our cartography live stream for joining up. You get to have the island settlement over here. What we are currently doing is putting together geography on said map. We had just started putting some woodlands up here in the north. And, yeah, hello. So, how's your night going? My day is going pretty well, so... Just putting together some of these woodlands here. Maybe an extra mountain piece up here. No, it's just going to add on. Ooh, that looks interesting. I like that. Because looks like there would be a lot of rainfall that hits this area here, which means that the interior would be a little better wooded, and perhaps there's a stream that comes from the mountains down here. Yeah, it's nice to see you again, too. I hope you're enjoying these cartography live streams. This is a third new and original map. Thought it was time to basically diverge entirely away from the first two, so... Yep, this is rivers up here. Couple extra rivers, because... Let's assume the trade winds are heading this way. There'd be a lot of water that'd be in the mountains here. So there would be rivers actually coming from said mountains onto the coastline. Alright, so welcome back 123456 and welcome 1SPDPDZW3C for joining us right now. We're going to place you a settlement right here on this island. Let's 1SDP-ZW3CY. You have a settlement on the map right here, and out toward this direction we are currently developing the river systems that would and should exist on said map. So over here there's an inner lake that exists. Yeah, there's a shared island. I mean, doesn't necessarily... Not everyone gets their own island, but... Some people can share and some people won't. It all depends on what ends up happening. Most of the settlements that I'm going to be putting on said map are going to be along the coastline anyway, and I have a limited amount of coastline. So, especially with the geography developing the way it is, might have to share 1 or 2 islands between everybody. So a little bit more woodlands up here. If you want any information, we're just drawing a fictional map. And if you join the live stream the first time you come in, I'm going to place a settlement on said map for you to enjoy later on. In the last 5 minutes of the live stream, we will look at said map together, and we'll see how you guys like it. Now, let's continue forest lands up here. Up this direction there will be some woods because of the cloud, and we will do that. So I'm going to keep developing this area over here along the mountains, which would have a lot of cloud cover, which would help with the development of forest. Of course, said woodland is not going to last forever as it extends south here and starts to cut off about here, where the rainfall kind of doesn't sweep the coast as much anymore and stick about. Or clouds might get stuck toward the interior of a landmass. Does not necessarily mean there would be a lot of vegetation on the coast nearby. Let's say, for example, over here begins a small patch of grassland. Might be a plain that starts to develop just to the south of here, where the cloud cover doesn't really enter the map. Welcome to said map. For coming online tonight, you get a settlement out on this region over here. I'm glad you can make it with us today, and watch as I practice some terrible calligraphy. So you just got a settlement on said calligraphy map, and right now what we are developing over on the main continent is a patch of grassland. Said grassland is basically going to encompass the area south of the forest in a region that gets a little bit less rainfall than its forest counterparts. Alas, the grassland will stretch a ways on the map. So I am a substitute teacher during the day. Welcome, Chinese brother. For joining said map, we're going to give you a settlement. Let's give you a coastal settlement over here. Because you're one of the more loyal people right now, I'll give you this area. This is like a little isthmus that exists right here. So yeah, I'm a substitute teacher, and what I do during the day is replace teachers in their classrooms who have or need a day off. Right now, I'm just kind of rushing together at at my hobby, which is calligraphy. Welcome Andy Liu to the live stream. You, as a consistent member, let's give you a settlement over here. To the south here, in this bay. And just watch as the map is drawn out and developed up north. Right now, we are working on the grassland. If anyone has any comments or questions, go ahead and feel free to post them in the comments section below. Alright. So, I also shaved my beard off recently, so a little bit hairless on the bottom compared to normal. Yep. So I'm just going to flip this back over. And let's see, the grasslands are doing pretty well. You know what I think would pop up on this map eventually? Yep, this is a cartography map. I think what would eventually pop up is a desert. And probably about here, where the end of the rainfall doesn't hit as much, you would start seeing some desert pop up. And perhaps over here is so dry that the desert actually extends right to the coastline. We have an occasional oasis right here. Make that a second one over here. Or this land kind of used to have a little bit more grassland, but the area's been drying up as the time goes on. Welcome, Rita. You win a fabulous settlement right here next to the desert. Welcome to the live stream, and welcome to the map drawing. I'm drawing out what would be a desert over here. There's a couple oases that pop up on occasion in said regions. Perhaps a caravan goes out between these oases in order to trade and travel by camel in and out of the area. Perhaps not. All there is to know is that the area is very inhospitable to normal travel by foot. Welcome to the live stream. Congratulations, you have a settlement about here. You are watching a cartography live stream in which the map is being drawn out for you below. That's a settlement of yours that you get for joining our live stream. Currently we're working on the desert in the western section of this map. The driest section of said map. We're putting in a few random oases in said area as well. Why, thank you. Welcome back, Rita. Glad you can make it with us. Your settlement is right next to the sands of the desert, but not to worry. There just happens to be a little bit of woodlands. You happen to be in a nice little oasis-like area right here, next to said desert. But before we continue drawing the desert, well, actually no, desert extends down to this coastline over here. We also have a bay that exists down here near Andy Lou's region that could probably change out the way things function. I think over here there would probably be a grassland that starts to, maybe some rocky hills. Hills start to pop up about here rather than mountains. Welcome back, Rita, and welcome, Judy. Congratulations, you get a settlement right here. So yeah, the desert's up north right here, and these are some hills to the south that kind of block out the desert from the rest of the area next to this inland bay. Another oasis exists about here. And how about another oasis popping up over here? Now, as far as the west coast goes, much of the geography on land has been put together except down in the southern region, of which case the bay actually has its own little weather patterns. For example, over here, see, weather that comes through in and out of this region probably just makes the majority of the region over here woodlands toward right about here. Welcome back, 123456. Glad you could join us tonight. Glad you could rejoin us tonight. Welcome now or never. You are the proud owner of this little settlement out here. Be proud of your accomplishment. Your people have now exist in the middle of this sea, and probably trade with peoples all the way in these islands out here, and there's a couple settlements this way and toward the coastline. Probably Chinese brother is kind of like the city of Istanbul over here, so I'm glad you could join us. Down here we're working on some forests, if you want to join us. A little bit of nice interior woodlands next to the Gulf over here. Kind of crisscross the region. Just developing the land on and around the continent, and then we will develop the islands. Around the 5-minute mark, we will take a overview of the entire map around the 5-minute mark, and you guys can appreciate it in all of its glory. I think over here is going to have a little bit of a wonky river system, so you're going to see this. Welcome back, Rita. Glad you can make it back with us. You're watching the development of the region around the Gulf, specifically the region next to Jody's settlement. There's a little delta right here that exists. And I think over here it might be a river system right here that does the same weird little thing. as the other system up above it. Let's see. We can make the desert a little bit more fun by adding cactus in later, but for now, let's continue with our misadventures down here. I think there's a little bit of extra grassland over here rather than wood. It's grass. This shore over here is a little dry. And yeah, some grassland over here. Kind of changes with the different weather. Nice little grassland. It's very nice for riding horseback off across it. A lot of the people in Andy Lou's city probably trade with some horsemen that come on and off the area. A little bit of grassland pops up in Judy's area here. There was a little bit of clear cutting in the past, which is why this region right here, which would probably have a lot more trees, is plentiful in grass instead. So up this direction we have some more grassland south of the hills here that divide the desert from the grass.